Expense tracker. Beginner level. Introduction. An expense tracker is one of the best beginner programming projects because it helps users record, organize, and analyze their spending. People use expense trackers to manage money for things like food, rent, transportation, shopping, bills, entertainment. This project is very useful for beginners because it teaches important programming concepts such as variables, user input, lists and dictionaries, functions, loops, conditional statements, file handling, CRUD operations. It is also a strong real-world project for a portfolio or resume. What is an expense tracker? An expense tracker is a program that allows users to record expenses and view their spending history. In simple words, expense tracker equals a program that helps users track where their money is going. A basic expense tracker usually allows users to add a new expense, view all expenses, calculate total spending, delete an expense, save expense data. Why this project is important? This project helps beginners understand how software manages real financial records. It teaches how to checkmark store multiple records, checkmark group information by category, checkmark calculate totals, checkmark build menu-driven programs, checkmark work with real-world data. Because of this, the expense tracker is one of the best practical beginner projects. Basic features of an expense tracker. Feature purpose. Add expense, store a new expense record. View expenses, display all saved expenses. Total spending, calculate total amount spent. Delete expense, remove a record. Save data, keep records after the program closes. These features make the project simple but very useful. Example expense record. An expense can be stored like this. Opening curly bracket. Title. Lunch. Amount. 12.5. Category. Food. Closing curly bracket. This structure makes it easy to store and manage spending data. Simple expense tracker example. Python. Here is a basic version. Expenses equals def add underscore expense. Title equals input. Enter expense title. Quote. Amount equals float. Input. Enter expense amount. Quote. Category equals input. Enter expense category. Quote. Expense equals title. Title. Amount. Amount. Category. Category. Closing curly bracket. Expenses. Append. Expense. Print. Expense added successfully. Def view underscore expenses. If not expenses. Print. No expenses found. Else. For I. Expense in enumerate. Expenses. Start equals 1. Print. Fi. Expense. Title. Dollar expense. Amount. Expense. Category. Closing curly bracket quote. Add underscore expense. View underscore expenses. This version allows users to add and view expenses. How the program works. Step 1. Store expenses. The program uses a list to store multiple expense records. Example. Expenses equals. Each expense is stored as a dictionary. Step 2. Add an expense. The program asks the user for title, amount, category. Example. Title equals input. Enter expense title. Quote. Amount equals float. Input. Enter expense amount. Quote. Category equals input. Enter expense category. Quote. This data is then stored in the list. Step 3. View expenses. The program displays all expenses using a loop. Example. For I. Expense in enumerate. Expenses. Start equals 1. Print. Fi. Expense. Title. Dollar expense. Amount. Expense. Category. Closing curly bracket quote. This makes the expense list easy to read. Calculate total spending. A useful feature is calculating total spending. Example. Def total underscore expenses. Total equals 0. For expense in expenses. Total plus equals expense. Amount. Print. Total spending. Dollar. Total. This teaches beginners how to loop through records, add numeric values, calculate summaries, delete expense feature. The user can also remove an expense. Example. Def delete underscore expense. View underscore expenses. Expense underscore number equals int. Input. Enter expense number to delete. Quote. If 1 less than equals expense underscore number less than equals len. Expenses. Removed equals expenses dot pop. Expense underscore number 1. Print. Deleted expense. Quote. Removed. Title. Else. Print. Invalid expense number. This helps manage incorrect or unwanted records. Full menu-based expense tracker. Here is a more complete beginner version. Expenses equals. Def add underscore expense. Title equals input. Enter expense title. Quote. Amount equals float. Input. Enter expense amount. Quote. Category equals input. Enter expense category. Quote. Expenses. Append. Opening curly bracket. Title. Title. Amount. Amount. Category. Category. Closing curly bracket. Print. Expense added successfully. Def view underscore expenses. If not expenses. Print. No expenses found. Else. For I. Expense in enumerate. Expenses. Start equals 1. Print. Fi. Expense. Title. Dollar expense. Amount. Expense. Category. Closing curly bracket quote. Def total underscore expenses. Total equals 0. For expense in expenses. Total plus equals expense. Amount. Print. Total spending. Dollar. Total. Def delete underscore expense. View underscore expenses. Expense underscore number equals int. Input. Enter expense number to delete. Quote. If 1 less than equals expense underscore number less than equals len. Expenses. Removed equals expenses dot pop. Expense underscore number 1. Print. Deleted expense. Quote. Removed. Title. Else. Print. Invalid expense number. While true. Print. N1. Add expense. Print. 2. View expenses. Print. 3. Show total spending. Print. 4. Delete expense. Print. 5. Exit. Choice equals input. Enter your choice. Quote. If choice equals 1. Add underscore expense. If choice equals 2. View underscore expenses. If choice equals 3. Total underscore expenses. If choice equals 4. Delete underscore expense. If choice equals 5. Print. Exiting program. Break. Else. Print. Invalid choice. This version feels more like a real application. Saving expenses to a file. To make the app more useful, expense data can be saved to a file. Example. Def save underscore expenses. With open. Expenses.txt. W. As file. For expense in expenses. File. Write. F. Expense. Title. Expense. Amount. Expense. Category. N. This keeps data even after the program closes. Loading expenses from a file. The program can also load saved expenses when it starts. Example. Def load underscore expenses. Try. With open. Expenses.txt. R. As file. For line in file. Title. Amount. Category equals line. Strip. Split. Quote pipe quote. Expenses. Append. Opening curly bracket. Title. Title. Amount. Float. Amount. Category. Category. Closing curly bracket. Accept file not found error. Pass. This makes the app much more practical. Grouping expenses by category. Another useful feature is viewing totals by category. Example. Def category _ summary. Summary equals. For expense in expenses. Category equals expense. Category. Amount equals expense. Amount. If category in summary. Summary. Category. Plus equals amount. Else. Summary. Category. Equals amount. For category. Total in summary. Items. Print. Category. Quote. Total. This helps users understand where most money is spent. Concepts learned from this project. Building an expense tracker helps beginners practice. Checkmark lists. Checkmark dictionaries. Checkmark functions. Checkmark loops. Checkmark conditional statements. Checkmark file handling. Checkmark CRUD operations. Checkmark basic financial calculations. These are useful concepts in many real applications. Real-life analogy. An expense tracker is like writing daily spending in a notebook. For example, breakfast equals $8. Bus ticket equals $3. Groceries equals $25. The program turns that notebook into a digital record system that can also calculate totals automatically. Ways to improve the expense tracker. Once the basic version works, beginners can add more features. Examples. Add dates for each expense. Search expenses by category. Show monthly totals. Set a budget limit. Warn when spending exceeds budget. Save data in JSON or CSV. Use SQLite or MySQL database. Build a GUI version. Create a web or mobile expense tracker. These improvements can turn the project into a strong portfolio application. Common mistakes beginners make when building an expense tracker. Beginners often crossmark forget to convert amount to number. Crossmark do not validate negative expense values. Crossmark forget to handle empty expense lists. Crossmark use unclear variable names. Crossmark write all logic in one large block. These mistakes are normal and help beginners improve their code quality. Where expense trackers are used. Expense tracker logic is used in personal finance apps, budgeting tools, accounting software, business expense systems, mobile finance applications. Larger systems may also include charts, reports, user accounts, recurring expenses, bank integration. Simple definition. Expense tracker. A program that records, organizes, and calculates user spending. Final summary. The expense tracker is a great beginner project because it teaches how to manage real financial data. It helps beginners learn. Checkmark record storage. Checkmark lists and dictionaries. Checkmark functions and loops. Checkmark totals and summaries. Checkmark file handling. Checkmark CRUD operations. By building this project, beginners gain practical coding experience and create a useful project for their resume or portfolio.